It starts with the noise, the soft, relentless hiss of tires on blacktop, the low hum of a radio someone forgot to turn down, and the thin blue smear of dashboard lights cutting through the dark. Night roads have a way of compressing time. A single mile can feel like tonight. The promise is this: stay alert, because on roads at night, the ordinary becomes uncanny faster than you can blink. October 3rd, 2023, 10:12 p.m., Route 47, Northern Vermont. Ethan Lynn is a courier on his third overnight run this week. His van is brimmed with parcels, and the heater hums hot enough that the windows fog at the edges. He's used to delivering at odd hours. The quiet is part of the pay. As he rounds a bend where the highway drops into a shallow valley, his headlights catch something standing at the shoulder, a small figure, motionless, half turned toward the trees. At first, he thinks it's a child. The silhouette is short, shoulders hunched, an oversized jacket dangling almost to the knees. Ethan slows. He taps the brakes, more reflex than intention. No swerving, no sudden moves. The road is narrow and slick from an earlier drizzle. Stopping would be risky. He watches the figure step forward. The jacket flashes under the headlights, a flash of reflective tape like the kind on workwear. Ethan squeezes the wheel and keeps moving, passing by at no more than 25 miles per hour. He does not get a clear look, just a sudden contrast of pale face and dark eyes. And then the figure blurts into motion and is gone. A minute later, Ethan pulls into a gas station to warm up and shake the feeling. He calls the non-emergency number, reporting a possible lost child. The dispatcher asks for a location. He gives them the mile marker. "We'll send a patrol to check it out," they say. Ethan sits for 15 minutes, feeling the van's seat vibrate under him, and then drives on. 2 days later, a local Facebook group posts a video shot from a home security camera near that mile marker. The same bend in the road, the same fog-slick pavement. At 10:13 p.m., a figure stumbles into view from the tree line, crossing the shoulder in a weird, jerking gait. It doesn't look like a child anymore. Not quite right. It moves like someone trying to fit their body around a memory of motion. No one claims the video. No report of a missing person names that stretch of highway. The camera's watchful eye captured something nobody can place, and the highway keeps swallowing the night. June 29th, 2022. 1:47 a.m., County Road 12, outskirts of Cedar Falls, Iowa. A rideshare driver named Rosa had taken one more fare than usual that night. 4 college students returning from a campus concert. The night was humid. Their laughter kept filling the car. As they turned onto County Road 12, a shape appears in the headlights. A woman standing in the median, hands raised as if waving someone down. "Maybe she needs help," one of the students says. Rosa pulls over a little ways ahead, stops, and motions them to stay seated. She points the headlights toward the woman, keeping the doors locked. The woman doesn't approach the car. Instead, she walks to the center of the road and begins to rock back and forth, singing something that sounds like a lullaby. Her clothes cling to her body as if she's been in water. There's a peculiar metallic taste to the air that the students can't place. The driver clicks the radio off to listen. Rosa calls from behind the wheel, voice steady and careful. The woman raises her head. Her face is a pale oval, hair plastered to her cheeks. She smiles, slow and patient, then lifts a hand and points down the embankment toward the river that runs alongside the road. Her eyes are too bright, like glass heated in a furnace. One of the students films with his phone. They all feel it, the immediate animal urge to flee. They call 911. The dispatcher assures them help is on the way. 10 minutes stretch into 20. The woman doesn't move. Then, as if deciding the night is no longer interesting, she turns and walks into the darkness toward the riverbank and vanishes. Police later find footprints at the water's edge, bare feet, dragging through mud, ending abruptly where the river current was deepest. A canoe tied to a post upstream has fresh scuff marks on its hull. But there is no missing person report directly linked to this stretch of river that night. Months later, a local fisherman tells a reporter about seeing a woman in wet clothes pacing near the water off and on for a week. No one can say whether she left on her own, walked into the river, or simply evaporated into the high summer heat and the long memory of the road. February 14th, 2024, 11:58 p.m., I-85, outskirts of Atlanta, Georgia. Valerie works night shifts in the ER. She's on her way home, shoulders wrapped high against the cold, thinking only of sleep and coffee. A truck slows in front of her, its hazard lights blinking. In the median, a man in a bright orange vest stands with his back to the road, hands in his pockets, seemingly waiting. Probably roadworks, she mumbles and changes lanes, intending to give him space. But then, the man steps into her lane and stands directly in the beam of her headlights. He raises his hand, palm out. Like a traffic director, Valerie slams the brakes and hears metal protest behind her. She calls out to the man through fogged air, "Hey, you can't be standing there!" He doesn't respond. He tilts his head as if listening to something she can't hear. From the passenger seat, the radio suddenly changes station, static flaring and then settling into a song that both soothes and disturbs. The man makes a small, almost imperceptible bow, and then, without a sound, he steps to the side and falls, flat like a mannequin tipped over. Valerie freezes for a second too long. When she gathers herself, she turns to check the road behind her and the shoulder where the man stood. He's gone. There's no slump of body against guardrail, no footprints in the gravel. Her rearview mirror shows nothing but the blue sheen of highway lights receding into distance. The next day, a local tow operator posts a grainy dash cam clip taken on a stretch of I-85 hours later. A figure in an orange vest standing near the road, head bowed, then suddenly gone when headlights sweep past. Comments cascade. Some call it a prank. Others demand answers. No construction crews report anyone missing that night. The man in the orange vest becomes another image in the slow, aching reel of night road encounters. Visible, then irrevocably absent. Night roads cultivate questions they never plan to answer. Were these people lost? Drunk? Victims of a prank? Or has the long darkness of late hours teased something awake? Something that inhabits the margins where light ends and certainty frays. By the time Ethan, Rosa, and Valerie have all told their versions, with details that wobble and shift under retelling, they notice the same thing. The stories cluster at specific edges, bridges, river bends, median strips where the world seems thinner. Each account shares a small, destabilizing echo. The people they saw looked real enough to cause a heartbeat of panic, but something about their motion or the aftermath made them belong more to memory than to evidence. This is where the night roads are most dangerous, not because of drivers or weather, but because they ask you to be the witness of something that might not want witnesses. The desert at night feels like an ocean drained of water. The road cuts through it like a seam, endless and lonely. The air is sharp, the stars too close, and the silence so thick it hums inside your skull. Truck driver Liam Dorsey had driven this stretch hundreds of times, hauling fuel between Las Vegas and Tonopah. He liked the emptiness. Fewer cars, fewer distractions. But that night, something felt off. The radio had gone dead miles ago. His CB channel was filled with static, and every time he glanced in the side mirror, the reflection behind him seemed a little too dark, like the desert had swallowed its own horizon. At exactly 1:26 a.m., near mile marker 104, Liam saw what looked like a man standing by the edge of the road, right where the asphalt faded into gravel. He wore a brown jacket, one arm lifted as if to wave. Liam slowed, thinking it might be another driver in trouble. But as he got closer, the man didn't move. He didn't step forward or raise a thumb for help. He just stood there, motionless, head tilted slightly down, staring at the ground. Liam's stomach turned cold. He hit the horn. The sound tore through the desert like a scream. The man didn't react. Then slowly he raised his head, and that smooth skin began to ripple, as though something beneath it was pressing outward, trying to breathe through the surface. Liam didn't wait to find out what it was. He slammed the accelerator and sped past, gripping the wheel so tight it left dents in the rubber. In the mirror, the figure didn't vanish like he expected. Instead, it seemed to step onto the road and start walking after him, each movement distorted, too fast, too fluid. When Liam finally reached the truck stop 20 miles ahead, he jumped out of the cab, hands trembling. The clerk asked if he was okay. Liam pointed back toward the desert and said only, "There's someone out there," with no face. The police checked the area the next morning. They found nothing. No footprints, no signs of struggle, not even a tire mark to prove anyone had stopped there. But when investigators reviewed Liam's dash cam, the footage skipped exactly 5 seconds at the moment he passed the man. The file jumped from 1:26:12 a.m. to 1:26:17 a.m., and the audio in that gap contained a faint, rhythmic whisper that no one could explain. March 8th, 2024, 2:42 a.m., Route 92 Missouri College student Emma Grady was returning home from visiting her sister in Kansas City. The night was calm, her favorite playlist keeping her awake as the road stretched empty ahead. She turned off the highway for a shortcut through the countryside, a road she later swore wasn't on her GPS. At first, everything seemed normal. The fields stretched wide on either side, silvered by moonlight. Then her headlights caught something reflective, a road sign leaning sideways in the wind. It read in rusted letters. Liam slowed, thinking it might be another driver in trouble. But as he got closer, the man didn't move. He didn't step forward or raise a thumb for help. He just stood there, motionless, head tilted slightly down, staring at the ground. Liam flicked on his high beams. For a split second, the light caught the man's face. Or rather, what should have been his face. It was pale, featureless, like wax melted under a lamp. No mouth, no eyes, just smooth, stretched skin. Liam's stomach turned cold. He hit the horn. The sound tore through the desert like a scream. The man didn't react. Then slowly he raised his head, and that smooth skin began to ripple, as though something beneath it was pressing outward, trying to breathe through the surface. When Liam finally reached the truck stop 20 miles ahead, he jumped out of the cab, hands trembling. The clerk asked if he was okay. Liam pointed back toward the desert and said only, "There's someone out there," with no face. The police checked the area the next morning. They found nothing. No footprints, no signs of struggle, not even a tire mark to prove anyone had stopped there. But when investigators reviewed Liam's dash cam, the footage skipped exactly 5 seconds at the moment he passed the man. The file jumped from 1:26:12 a.m. to 1:26:17 a.m., and the audio in that gap contained a faint, rhythmic whisper that no one could explain. March 8th, 2024, 2:42 a.m., Route 92 Missouri College student Emma Grady was returning home from visiting her sister in Kansas City. The night was calm, her favorite playlist keeping her awake as the road stretched empty ahead. She turned off the highway for a shortcut through the countryside, a road she later swore wasn't on her GPS. At first, everything seemed normal. The fields stretched wide on either side, silvered by moonlight. Then her headlights caught something reflective, a road sign leaning sideways in the wind. It read in rusted letters, "Dead End, half mile." She almost laughed. Of course it's called Dead End. Rural towns always had names like that. But as she continued, the air thickened, fog rolling in fast, the kind that clings to the windshield even with wipers going full speed. And then she saw it. A car parked diagonally across the road ahead, headlights off. Its door was open, swaying gently in the breeze. She slowed to a crawl. "Hey," she muttered, leaning closer to the windshield. "You okay?" There was no one inside. The driver's seat was empty, but the interior light flickered like someone had just stepped out moments before. Then she heard knocking, soft, deliberate from behind her. Her mirror showed nothing. The knocking came again, this time louder. Emma threw the car into drive and hit the gas, heart pounding. But no matter how fast she went, the fog didn't lift. The road refused to end. Her GPS froze, blinking the same word over and over, recalculating. Finally, through the fog, she saw a sign, another dead end, the same one she'd passed 10 minutes earlier. She braked hard, gasping for breath. When she looked up, a man was standing in front of the car, inches from the bumper. His head was tilted sideways, his mouth too wide, his smile unmoving. The engine died, the lights cut out. The next morning, locals found Emma's car abandoned at the entrance of Route 92. The battery was drained, and her phone was still in the cup holder, screen cracked. Camera open. Last image, a blurry photo of something leaning close to the window. April 20th, 2024, 3:09 a.m., Old Creek Bridge, Oregon. The night rain came down like sheets of glass. Delivery driver Carlos Vega was heading north after his shift. His wipers fought to keep up, and the bridge ahead shimmered under lightning flashes. As he crossed, he noticed a pair of red taillights flickering near the middle of the span. A car stopped in the wrong lane. Carlos slowed and rolled down his window. The rain hit his arm like needles. "Hey, you need help," he shouted. A woman stood near the car, staring over the railing into the churning river below. Her hair stuck to her face.